Are.
I got a new microphone. I got my
Thank you,
extra loud,
Jesus.
obnoxious shirt on today because we want to shake things up. We got family in the house today.
Hmm.
We've got. Why don't you introduce our skinny guests we have on our show today?
Oh my gosh, it's Tino and Devon Elisara. They have been married for 20 years. They have four babies under the age of 12. Tino works in the medical field, right? Kind of,
Yep,
sort of.
something
Yes.
like that.
And Devon is working her way to being an electrician, a woman electrician. Go girl. And what else? Yeah, that's what I got. That's all he gave me. He gave me. That's all he gave me. But yeah,
I'm gonna give Naki a second to think if she's got anything more to say about our amazing guests.
yeah, they're from the Bay Area and they're living healthier now.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna
going
talk
to talk
about.
about that and how Tino and Devin are on a healthy kick, which is awesome because it goes right in line with the pandemic of how um, underlining illnesses have been causing PIs, getting PIs that they're testing positive because of, diabetes, high blood pressure, yada, yada, yada. And these two have just cut all of that out.
Yeah,
They,
we're going to talk about the inspiration that a lot of family and friends are taking from Devon and Tino. So that's what kind of ties into Koviki Talk. Koviki Talk is a multi-episode series where Pacific Islanders speak to Pacific Islanders about all things COVID-19. And this month we are talking to parents of young ones because it's a big topic right now. Young people aren't as likely to have severe symptoms from COVID. So there's questions of do we vaccinate our kids, our children? We want to get the PI perspective on that. We can always hear what the mainstream media opinion is if we turn on CNN or Fox or one of the mainstream media views, but this is Pacific Islanders speaking to Pacific Islanders. So that's why we have Devin and Tino on today, because we're going to get their point of view. And we're also going to talk about what is COVID related, is things like obesity, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, and some of those things that make COVID that much worse for Pacific Islanders and health issues that we need to address, and they're doing that. So back to you, Naki. I forgot the intro, so I thought I would squeeze that in there.
Oh, okay. Good job. Good job trying to get everything in there. So, we're going to start off with an icebreaker. And we had this question on Monday, so I thought I would ask again. We'll start with Tino. What song best describes you? And keep it G rated.
What's man? The only song that comes to mind is "So Much Pain" by Tupac. Um, but that was before my health journey.
Yes, yes.
uh,
And I
and
love
now
Tupac.
it's Little Duval, living my best life.
Oh, me too. Me too. I love that song. I love that song. Devin?
So, anybody who knows me well knows that I love to dance. And this has been my song for a while. ABBA's Dancing Queen. That's me.
Oh,
I am the dancing queen.
I love that. My lave, one of my girls, she loves ABBA. So but what is that one movie with Mel Streep and that's her movie?
Mamma Mia.
Yes, that is her movie because of, ABBA.
Sing and dance the whole time.
Yes,
I like it too.
I love it. Carl, what about you?
See, I got to skip this one on Monday because we had talked about the microphone problems we had. I got to skip this and I wasn't ready, so I was kind of happy that my microphone went out. And I realized that several days later I'm still not. And I was just thinking, as Devin said, this everybody who knows me, I love to dance. My journey right now, my health journey. There's a song by Tim McGraw called "Live Like You Were Dying," and it talks about a person who is talks about their eyes being opened by having cancer and living life more fully. So that's what I got. I don't have anything fun like Dancing Queen. I do always find it interesting when our kids listen to our music because when I was little, I listened to my parents' music when I was forced to listen to my parents' music, but I wasn't, at 23 or 20 or any of those ages trying to listen to the music that my parents listened to. I think that's awesome with things like Spotify and Pandora and YouTube, that they can actually listen to the music that we listen to and like it, not be forced to listen to it.
Yay. I like Nappy Roots. Good Day. That's my stuff. That gets me in the morning. Also, well, I also love Tupac, but that song is not appropriate right now. But it's never mind. It has a lot of cursing in it. I forget the song, but I blast it all the time in my car because it gets me started, and it has a lot of cursing words. So there you go. There you go.
Gets
So
you started in road rage.
I know. No, because then I start singing and dancing in the car by myself. So, and that gets me in the morning. Plus I pray in the morning. I pray in the morning on my way to work. So there you go.
So you smile and dance to My 4-4 and all that. That makes you smile and dance.
Anyway. Okay, so this series, it's all month, the whole month of August, we're going to be trying to talk to parents that have kids under 12, and with this Delta variant going around, we're getting everyone's different opinion on vaccinating their kids. And so I know that, Tino, you are around the medical field. Like, are you seeing anything about COVID, or are you just, you're not?
There's certain pockets that things are getting bad. The ERs are just getting filled up. But for the most part, it's just certain pockets of the Bay Area that I see.
Right.
That's worse than others.
Right. Devon, the kids, are they going back to school? Are they going in person soon?
Yes. They're starting in person next Wednesday. So we've been doing all our back to school shopping and whatnot. So we've been preparing for that. They're going back fully masked, regardless of vaccination status. And we've just started getting emails from the school district as to everything that they've done for enhanced cleaning. Awesome. They've gotten air filters for every classroom. They've gotten a UV cleaner for nighttime. So we're just starting to get all that information, how it's going to work. And so it'll be exciting to get them back to school next week.
Right. How was it last year with no school, like having them home and 24/7?
It was great.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy because, we had 3 in different grades. So we had to thank
starting
God.
At different times. Are you on your Zoom? Are you on your Zoom? Is the Wi-Fi on? Get on the hotspot.
Yeah. So, we're fortunate enough to be able to have areas of the house where we could separate them, because we had a 6th grader, a 5th grader, and a kindergartner. So it's just everybody on laptops and just trying to keep them separated and whatnot. So, sorry.
With the kindergartner, their first impression of school is Zoom, right? So this will be the first time in person. Are you worried, concerned?
Your Dubby, so he never turned on his camera.
Oh.
He's laying across the chairs. I'm like, please.
Son. And he's in kindergarten.
Kindergarten was the worst one. He's like, I just turned off my camera. I'm like, sit your booty down, turn on your camera. I'm like, oh my gosh, wheeling and dealing with the kindergartner for Zoom. It was really hard.
Do you think he'll enjoy being in person? I mean, I would think he'd want to play with other kids his age. And
so at the end, when was it? Last April, they were able to go back to school in the afternoon for 2 hours, not for any instruction. It was more just in-person time with the teacher, time with friends. And so they loved it. I know it was only 2 hours, but they got a little something it's a little bit of socialization with other kids. And so that's why I did it. I mean, we're really lucky because we're walking distance to our school. I don't know about, it sucks for the parents that had to drive their kids in, and 2 hours goes so quickly. But yeah, that's the biggest part of school, connecting with your peers, connecting with your teachers, and just that part of learning, that's where, especially at the young ages, that's where you're learning to share and conflict resolution, with your peers. So it was really good.
And is Debbie used to wearing a mask? Do you think that'll be a problem with that when they get to school, they're just going to rip it off and go play?
The littles are a lot better than the bigs. It's Mason and Marley who are the ones where I'm like, put your mask up. Put your mask up. They're wearing it low, completely wrong. But the two little ones are sitting there with it strapped on perfectly and like totally fine. I have to tell them when we're in the car, you can take off your mask. It's okay. But the big ones, they're the ones.
So when she says littles, it's 6 and 4-year-old compared to bigs, which is 12 and 10-year-old.
Yeah.
So the 12 and 10-year-olds are the ones that we have to say, hey, put on your mask. But the two little ones, the 2, 6 and 4-year-olds, they're the ones that always has it on all the time.
Yeah. I think because that's all the 6 and 4-year-old know, right? Is they gotta wear their mask. And then the older two know what it's like to be in school or be out with no mask.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I would think that would be hard for them, but not the littles.
Right.
Are you concerned about COVID in the school, or are you confident that the school is going to protect and clean and do what they need to do?
So I am very pleased with everything I've read thus far as to what they're doing, but I think it's always still a concern. Like you said, the kids are little. They're going to have their masks are going to be down, and I, you read all the things like, okay, they, even if they get it, it's mild and they can't, the chances of them spreading aren't that great and whatnot, but it's still always just a concern. You never want to risk it. They give you all these statistics and all these percentages and how low it is. Okay, but it's not 0%. So as a mom, if it's not 0%, then there's always the chance.
I think that's the big thing with COVID is we don't know, right? I mean, then a trend may start that, next month they say, oh, well, now kids are, we just don't know. So it's better to err on the side of being safe. One of the things that I always thought about was, how our parents would say, we always joke that they said they walked uphill both ways, barefoot in the snow, 10 miles to school.
One sleeper.
What? And now I think of, like kids who graduated in 2020 are going to be able to say, I didn't get it, like there's all these crazy things that are going on right now that are unprecedented, never happened before. Are there things that you're concerned about, like Naki had talked about, that it's the first time? Like, so if you have kids that are a little bit older and they've been, to normal school and, they've gone through that socialization and those kind of things, are you worried about the effect that it could have on little ones, just the socialization and the oddness of not going to school and those things? Or are they, like you're saying, just adaptable? You're supposed to wear your mask. You just wear your mask, and there's not those, those kind of habits to break. Do you think about that, like what this whole thing might have in terms of effects on the young ones?
I think for me, it's not a big concern because them and their peers, they're all on the same boat. I mean, they're all. It's. I don't want to say it's a level playing field, but all their classmates. Everybody's dealing with it. So, they're kind of dealing with it together. So, for me, that's not I don't think it's a big concern. I don't know about you.
Not really, especially, well, I think our concern is mostly for our 10-year-old because she's the social one. Our 12-year-old, if he could stay on doing distance learning, he probably would because he's just happy and he did well. He excelled, he thrived, he was on honor roll the whole time. So that wasn't a concern. But our 10-year-old, she's the one who really, she has a lot of friends. You know, she would get out of class and she'd be like, "Oh, can I FaceTime? Can I Zoom? I made a Zoom room so I could meet my friends." You know, so for her, it's a concern. And the littles, I don't worry too much about them, just because, you know, we were able to get him, our 6-year-old, into t-ball, so he was able to be out and do that with other kids. And now we signed him up for soccer that's starting soon. So, you know, even though it wasn't class, it's still being with other kids and giving them the chance to socialize that way. And then with the learning aspect, like Tino said, I was really concerned at the beginning. Like, my kids are falling behind. You know, how am I going to catch them up? How are they going to stay on track? And then he had to remind me, like, honey, if our kids are behind, so is everybody else's kids. You know, so in the end, I do worry mostly that it's you know, a whole, every class is always going to be behind. So I don't know how that's going to affect us overall, but I don't worry about that as the schooling part about it as much.
I think that's a really good point, right? It's not like you're taking 10 kids out of the class and I don't know, challenging them more than the other 20, like all 30 or all, you know, the whole school. And really this generation is dealing with this. And you know, the human beings are so resilient and so adaptive to, you know, things that are going on. We talked to some college students that were, you know, they were the same as your 12-year-old. Like, to be honest, I hope we do more distance learning because, you know, that's more my speed. I'm able to, you know, adapt and work on my own and at my own pace and those kind of things. So, you know, it's interesting to hear those kind of things, those stories of resilience. I find myself, because of the Delta variant and because it's more virulent in the airborne sense, now the N95 mask is much more important, or even double masking, because of the it being more transmissible that way. Do you find yourself being concerned with the need for improved masks? Like, everybody was wearing, I don't know, a bandana, a gaiter, like there's all kinds of, and some of them were fashion statements. And now it seems like the mask, what type of mask you're wearing, is more important. Are those things that you consider as we go forward into this Delta variant?
It's funny, I was just reading about that and how, you know, all the different mask options and what the best mask is, and how they're saying try and get surgical masks, and if you can't, then do the cloth mask and then the non-surgical mask over that. And for me, with the kids, I know how hard it is for them to even wear masks, so I don't want to double mask. And then I haven't even looked into getting KN95 masks.
Yeah.
I know that's really, those are supposed to be really good. So that's what I'm doing this week, is trying to get some of those for school, just to keep them safe, you know, because like I said, they're bringing in the air filters, they're doing the UV cleaning, but it's still a risk. You know, we're still going to have these kids in a classroom, and now they don't have distancing. There's no distance requirement. So we're getting 30 kids at least in a classroom. You know, two big ones are in middle school. You know, they're going to have to switch classes. They haven't really, you know, kids are going to be crossing in the hallway. There's a lot of chances. It's all indoor. It's not like we have a, you know, good area with good weather that we can keep windows open, you know, so the kids will all freeze. But we'll see what happens. And then the littles, I just give them their just the regular masks.
I love the term, the littles. The littles, the bigs, because you got two groups of them. So one of the things that I think was, and we've talked about this a lot on a lot of different shows, is what do we take out of this as a community, as Pacific Islanders? What do we take this and take advantage of something. And I think a lot of it has been the education of our health. Like, why are we so much more susceptible to COVID-19 and the chronic health conditions, and the list is long. I think that was one of my thoughts of that's something that we can leverage and say, hey, we can learn from this. If a new one comes down the road in 10 years, will we have better health as a people so that we're not affected as much? And you're doing these things. Was that, and we definitely want to talk about your health journey. Was that something that that you even thought about in terms of COVID? Or was it just not just, but a personal decision that you made completely independent of all the craziness that's been going on since last year?
What's the question
Tino?
again? Sorry.
What prompted the decision? Was the decision at all what was going on?
Your
Yeah.
health journey, yeah.
The whole sheltering in place, dealing with, the kids and their schooling, and it just led to bad habits. By the time Friday came, mind you, I had stopped drinking in 2012. And, so I had been sober for like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Here comes COVID. And, at first it was exciting. We get to be home with our kids, you know what I mean?
This is so great. All this family time.
All this family time. And then, a day into it.
Days turned into months.
Yeah. And so, it led to a lot of bad habits. I mean, we're in the house. We couldn't go out. We can only go with our social bubbles. So, if we can't go out, let's bring the party in, and so, but it could have been a different type of party, but instead it was 805s and chicken wings,
Right.
and so, you're doing that every Friday for a couple months, just because you're just burnt out from, man,
Yeah.
props to all the teachers out there. I
Right.
used to always, I respected and gave teachers their props, but man, after COVID, it's like 10 times more.
Right.
And we're only dealing with 4 kids. They got a classroom of 30 or whatever their number is. So yeah, it just created a lot of bad habits that we built over the months, and it's just we started packing on the pounds, and by the end of last year, Devon was pretty much fed up with it. And she just got just tired of waiting for me, and
I ain't waiting for you no more. Yeah. I told him, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this body. I'm done with, being unhealthy. And I just started, and maybe a week later you came on.
Yeah.
And then, it just went from there, and it's been amazing. We're down, 130? 130 is a...
Wow.
And I guess it is tied to COVID, because COVID packed all the pounds on, And, when you're not going out, you're not seeing anybody, we're only seeing each other, we look fine. There's nothing wrong with us, Then you start feeling the lethargic, medication starts coming into play when your doctor's putting you on, Lipitor or whatever it is, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and you just kind of, then we just kind of figure, we probably need to do something.
So, mom leads the way, dad follows, and the kids get to see that, right? The kids get to see the benefit of a healthy lifestyle. The kids get to see that eating healthy food doesn't have to be, eating boring or terrible stuff, right? There's some things that are happening in terms of modeling and what becomes regular in the house. Have you noticed an effect on the littles and the bigs in terms of you changing your lifestyle?
Oh, for sure. And if they see us with anything that's not approved, they're like, what are you doing?
Are you
what
cheating?
Are you
cheating?
Because they all know what we're going for and what our goals are. And so they're just like, it's okay, mom. That's Marley. She always says that. It's okay, mom, go ahead. But they're really supportive in it, and they see what it is, and we have salad at dinner every night, and hey, you want salad? Hey, I always make extra vegetables for them to try, to taste,
and they see us actually. Our protein portions aren't like they used to be. You know, having the whole big old ribeye each. Now they see us eating half of it and just being done. And they stay. They recognize. Kids, they absorb everything. You pile your plate up as they grow up. They're gonna do the same thing, just like we did. We go, like I said, I think I mentioned before, we go to like a $12.99 buffet and think we got to get our money's worth. Dude, it's $12. You eat like 8 things. So, when we started this program in December, and then we became health coaches in January. And one of the things we became health coaches for was to be accountable to our clients, not realizing that the impact it was going to have on our kids. Because we're living it out, trying to be accountable to our clients, but our kids are watching. Like yesterday, Dubby's drinking water. Our kids are Kool-Aid freaks. And to see him drink water was actually, nice to see.
Yeah, it's so fun watching the kids, and kids will call you out just like that. I remember when the triplets were young, we were having a problem with them leaving lights on, and so we made a rule: you leave a light on, you leave your light on in your room, you're doing 10 push-ups. And I used to joke around, and they'd come out of the room or walk out of the kitchen, and I'd start, hit the ground, give me 10, push the earth, I'm just, and having a good time with it. And all of a sudden, the kids started laying in wait for me coming out of rooms, and if I left the light on, they'd be push the earth, drop it, give me 10. And all of a sudden, we never had a problem with lights being left on because the family was doing it, and it just became, regular. That's the way it happens. We just turn the lights off, or we get made fun of or yelled at or joked about. But it's amazing how quickly kids catch on of, is this what we're doing? Okay. And I'm going to be part of it. And I'll remember this time, and I was going to save this for the end of the show, but I remember being at a buffet with Tino, and he was sitting at the table, and I think maybe Daisha Afrotania was there. I can't remember, but I remember he was saying, I want to get it. I want to do something that makes a difference, or I want to do, because he was looking at, the different things that the people at the table were doing. And when I saw you begin your health journey and saw people become inspired and saw you, and your beautiful wife are changing, really, these are life-changing things for the kids. Because if they take these habits on, long term, less doctor visits, they're more concerned with their health. I mean, it's huge, the arc that you put them on. And I just think back to that time when you brought up the buffet. I was like, yes, I remember being at a buffet with you, and I did eat all I could. I just remember you saying you wanted to do something in terms of, being a positive role model. And you're not just, for your family. There's people that are in your extended family and people that know you that you're doing that now. So that's, you said buffet, and I'm like, I'm going to throw that out there.
Well, even like when we were dating in high school, I think it was like 96 or 97, I came over for lunch, and her mom saw that I was full, but I kept eating because there was food on my plate. And she looked at me and she goes, Tino, if you're done, stop eating. And in my head, I'm like, no, I'm going to get hit, Yeah. And so, it was like an aha moment for me. It's like, what? I don't have to finish my plate? She said, put a foil on it and put it in the fridge. Finish it later. Yeah. And it was just like a light bulb went off, And I think those all contribute to health, within our people. And then with COVID, on top of bad health, bad results.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we grow up that way. We have to eat everything. And I think because our parents came, we're like the first generation born here. And so our parents is it time to eat?
Yeah,
is it time to eat? Because my they came over and they struggled, so what food we did have, they're like, you got to eat this because I did too much for you to not eat it. And so I think, most of it, my husband is the same way. I say my husband like you guys don't know, but not everybody knows. But him too, when we first, well, he doesn't do that now because he's lost 70 pounds. But before he would fill his plate because he didn't know whether he was going to eat again. You know what I mean? Growing up, you get the meal that you get. And if you get another meal, it's like a treat, right? I mean, I know it's awful to say, but that's how and still after we got married, he would fill his plate just because out of habit. And now going through this program that he's gone through, he just takes what he thinks is going to get him not full, but just enough to fuel his body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Growing up, a lot of stuff, things were scarce. Like when my mom used to come home with groceries, and we used to finish all the groceries in one day because we didn't know when the next meal was going to come. But now, man, you can get anything any time of the day.
Right.
And everything is in abundance. So it's just a mind shift and just old habits that we need to break.
It really is a mind shift.
Yeah, I was reading a book, Samoan football or football. It's all about Samoans and football. And reading it was really interesting. Reading about Al Lolotai and Baba Pisa, and the early Samoans that got into the NFL, they were known for their motor. You know what I mean? They were known for the engine and not running out of gas and not being tired and taking over games late. And then, when you get into things like, and they talked about American Samoa becoming a net food importer. So it's hard to grow the food. It's hard to do the work to grow the food, and then you're eating healthy food. And then the equation became, once it became, a wage-based society, then you earn money, then you go buy your food. And all of a sudden the quality of the food drops, and then the activity drops because we're no longer growing our food. And I think those are, things that low activity and a bad diet is just bad math. Then that's just common sense, but it's hard when you can buy 5,000 calories for $5.99. It's just, and I don't think that's thought about a lot. And the way that you speak and the way that you phrase things, again, your kids are seeing, and your kids are picking those things up. They're just sponges. So, congratulations for modeling for your kids, because, like you said, if you do things, you're always on stage. Naki and I always talk about that. We're always on stage. So whether you say it or whether you do it, you're on stage with your kids. And you may say, don't smoke. And this is a good example of my wife. Her mom smoked, and her mom told her, don't smoke. It's bad for you. It'll kill you. For a while, my wife smoked because the lady she respected, her mom, smoked, and that's what she saw. She quit, but she said that's why, ultimately that's why I did. So you're modeling, you're doing great things for your kids. Are there other things that you're, in terms of fitness, I think I've seen hiking, I've seen like all kinds of different activities. Are there health related activities that you want to do with the family?
Well, you keep your kids active. Like, Mason is golfing and W's playing,
Yeah, the sports are all open now. So Mason's back registered for golf. Marley's starting volleyball. And W and Baby Y are both starting soccer. And I'm their freaking soccer coach. Go figure. I don't even know soccer.
Yeah.
They needed a coach. So if I wanted my kid to play, I guess I got a coach.
That's usually how it happens. Like Pete, my brother, he was Noah's baseball coach like his whole baseball career, because either they were short coaches or he was just going so that Noah wouldn't feel, I don't know, insecure or whatever, and then it just stuck. But
as far as activities together, it's hard because when we go walking, we just want to get in our 30, 45-minute walk and stuff. And sometimes when we take the kids, it's like, hey, don't run across the street. Hey, don't do it.
That's more work.
Yeah. And we would like to go on walks together. Maybe we need to go to a trail and do it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like in the middle of the day when he's at work, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to go with me for a walk? And they turn and look at me and they're like, no, thanks. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. See you guys in a bit. I'll go.
Okay. No, we're gonna wait for Dad to get home so we can torture him.
Oh my gosh. A couple weeks ago, Marley had a Girl Scout meeting, and we've been meeting at the park, so it's outdoor. Everyone brings their own stuff and we're masked. And so I'm like, nope, all the kids, everybody get dressed. We're all going to go to the park. So I brought all these snacks. I had the blanket out. 5 minutes, they're all on the blanket looking for snacks. I'm like, we just got here. We haven't even done the pledge for our meeting. Please come out there. They're like, but we just want to relax. I'm like, no relaxing. You need to be out running around for 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
It's just funny because we've just been running around and outside, in the backyard. They've been doing that and all that stuff, that they get tired so quick. Yeah. They're like, I need food, I need water, so I am glad that now that everything's opened up, we can get them back into organized sports so that they can build that up again.
But you know what too, like you guys are saying, man, COVID, because when all the gyms shut down, everybody started building gyms in their garage, piecemealing weights and stuff like that. So our kids see us downstairs. We had picked up a Peloton. They see us on the bike, and
nice.
So they're actually seeing us work out. Where we used to go to the gym, come back and say we worked out. We could have went Jack in the Box, and Dubby today. So our 6-year-old, he's walking around. I'm like, where? Our Peloton weights, they're only 3 pounds. He comes around the corner. He's like, I'm burning calories, Dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
These are all things. Now that we're talking about it, it probably wouldn't have happened without COVID, because we wouldn't have built that little gym downstairs. We wouldn't have got, our health in order. And now our kids are actually seeing us, trying to live a healthier life.
Right.
Yeah, and those are the things.
That example. Yeah.
Right. What can we take out of this? Like, what can we make positive out of this? And those are the things that, how do we take something and make this for us and not to us? And I think that if your kid sees you, I don't know, cooking a lot, they're likely to cook a lot. If the kid sees, I watched my dad. He was always driving, trucks and loading equipment and those kind of things. That's all I wanted to do as a kid. So that they're gonna pick those things up just out of watching what's important. What's important is paying attention to the food that I'm eating, not just eating. Laverne had said, I know firsthand eating healthy is expensive. I always buy Jaden organic fruits and vegetables. We don't eat a lot of processed foods, mostly whole foods. And I think those are the, that's the thing is they can appear expensive, and they are more expensive calorie for calorie. But when you think about diabetes and you think about medicine and doctor's appointments and, all the things that come with being overweight, it's not cheaper to eat. It's not cheaper to eat bad food because there's a lot of things that come with it. But if you're looking just calorie for calorie, yeah, you can buy 5,000 terrible calories for you for really cheap. And it's hard not to, right? In today's day of move fast, we're all moving 100 miles an hour. I just want to grab something and eat it. There's a perception, right, that if I'm going to cook, it's going to take forever, just quicker to do this. So hats off to you.
You also got, what are you comparing it to? It's expensive to what? Like your medication, how many times you're eating out, things like that. It can be pretty cost neutral, depending on.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think that it's very expensive to eat healthy. They don't have 3 for $5 organic lettuce on sale, but they sure have 3 for $5 Lay's potato chips in the family pack. They have buy 2 get 2 12 packs of sodas, but they don't have buy 2 get 2 spaghetti squash. So I feel like that's the hard part. That's where we're lacking. You try and do better. You try and eat better. But then we were all excited because Chipotle was like, oh, we have cauliflower rice now. And we're like, cool, if we're running late, we can go get cauliflower rice and and protein from there. And then you go there and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's $2 extra for cauliflower rice,
I
even though they're
know.
taking away the beans and the rice, oh, okay. It's like, it's just, and that part, especially with families, with kids and large families, which a lot of us have,
Yeah.
it's really hard to see that they don't make it affordable for us. They don't make it easy for us to make these choices for our families. A lot of times I feel like we have to decide just to feed our kids, because like how Tino was saying, when he grew up, they didn't know when they were getting groceries again, so everything would be gone.
Right.
So then you need to keep buying those chips that are on sale. You need to keep buying the cookies that are on sale, and just to make sure that they're eating something. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look ahead if you're living, paycheck to paycheck, week to week.
Yeah.
It's hard to see the tangible benefit of, look, if you eat healthier in the long run, you're going to have less premium, you're going to pay lower insurance rates, you're going to live a better life. That's all like invisible, like, oh, that all sounds good. I'm hungry. I don't know where the next food's going to come from. I'm going to buy the cheapest food, dollar per calorie that I can get. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember seeing it was The Biggest Loser, and the trainer was talking to a guy, and the guy but I can buy a $5.99 pizza from Little Caesars, and it's like 5,000 calories. That's why I keep using that term. And the trainer, they were in a grocery store, and he literally just looked at the contestant and was like, "I can't argue with you. Like, I can't beat that. I can't tell you that there's a cheaper food than that. What I can tell you is you'll live a better life." But again, all those kind of intangible things that if you're living from plate to plate, and who heard this as a kid? They're starving kids in China, or they're starving kids somewhere in the world. Clean your plate. Eat all your food because they're starving, And I never got that. I mean, I would eat the food because I was told to eat the food, but I didn't even get that concept. I just knew that, danger of getting smacked if you didn't eat.
I'm laughing because, you hear that, they're starving kids in China, Africa. I should have asked my mom, "Oh yeah, you been there?"
And what would happen?
Just kidding. Right.
You have, but you don't say.
I wish you would have.
They keep going to bingo.
Yeah. Right. We could be better if our parents didn't go to bingo, right?
Yeah.
That's where it all went. Do you think with the babies, do you think you'll be vaccinating them when they're of age too? Well, I know
Mason's of age, and we've talked to him about it.
Mm-hmm. So. Are you giving the kids a choice, or are you? Well, of course you're their parents, so you make the decision for them.
And we're discussing it, and the different options about it, and just if like they just had a drive-through clinic the other day here in South City, and so I was like, hey, they have appointments. They're walk-up appointments. Do you want to go? We can do that today, and then have to go back in 3 weeks. And he looks at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, "Can I think about it?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can think about it." Okay, well now we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, yeah, no, you're not going to think about it. We're going. I'm just going to make your appointment because I'm tired of you thinking about it. I was trying to be nice about it and, talk to him about it. He knows that we're vaccinated. Us two are vaccinated. My mother's vaccinated. And it's also like it's our responsibility. It's, when it's our turn, we need to get it, not just to keep ourselves safe, to keep others safe, to keep our loved ones safe, So,
well, the challenge is for me too. Like when you guys were talking about earlier, are we concerned about the kids going to school?
Yeah.
I know Devon voiced her concern. I'm not concerned at all. I'm concerned about myself when I come home. I'm in hospitals all day. I know I'm around something. You know what I mean? And so the challenge for me, I'm not concerned about my kids going to school and stuff like that. It's me coming home.
Right. Right. I think that's and you live in a multi-generational home, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
Deb's mom is there too, and I'm glad that she's vaccinated. I think that's my concern too, is because I leave the house, I go to work. My kids right now are well, they're on summer break. My youngest, and she's 13, and I got her vaccinated just because in December we all caught COVID except for her. I think it's just her immune system, and so I had her leave the house to stay with Evie until we were all, better. And so my worry is her. I know that I keep my kids, like we wash our hands, we clean the house, we take the precaution of trying not to get COVID. But my worry is she's going to go to school now. And do those parents take the same precaution? You know what I mean? Do they take the same precaution as we do to just stay alive? And especially because we're Pacific Islanders, like our rate is a lot higher of catching it because of all the diabetes and gout and high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe do you think that it's the worry of the shot, because a lot of kids are scared of the needle of the shot, and
that's Mason.
They know that it's it.
Yeah, he doesn't want the needle. He's like, I don't like needles. I'm like, yes, I know. You just had a shot for, whatever it was.
Right.
Your last doctor's appointment. You're fine.
Right.
You're going to be fine. But
that was me too. The shot. But I was like, well, damn girl, you done gone through COVID. You had cancer. You could do the damn shot. But I think that scared me the most because I went with Mena. And she's like, oh, it's okay, Mom. It's just a shot. And I was like,
I wasn't going to point all that out, but that was what I was thinking. I'm like, girl, come on.
I know.
It's,
it's a needle, though. It's a needle. So I was like, eh. But when I got it, it was a little poke, and I was like, oh, that's it. But, I just know that kids are worried about the shot. They know it's a needle that's going to go into their arm. And so it's just like talking to my youngest through it. It's going to keep you safe. It's going to keep me safe. I get sick fast. Lord knows I've caught everything. So I've caught everything. So I better be fine. But I think that's just my concern was that Malia is worried about the shot, like the needle, like how big is the needle? How long is my arm going to hurt?
Right.
Am
I going to be sick? How am I going to feel? Is this going to be, I'm like, oh my gosh, get over it. You're fine. Suck it up, Buttercup. This gives you a couple days to milk it. You can eat in bed for 2 days. Fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's right too. But I think we always ask everybody the best thing that's come out of the pandemic for us. And I think the best thing is that everyone trying to protect one another, even just not our family, but I'm always talking to people about COVID, like, have you done your research? And I understand that some people don't want to get vaccinated and some people do. And I always talk to the people that don't want to get vaccinated, like, well, what are your issues? Like, what are you worried about? And, I try to lead them, well, go talk here, or go read this, or go listen to a doctor, or whatever. But I think what I watched you guys' journey is the getting healthy and all the weight that you've lost. Well, Tino was like, whoo, I thought he was going to run out of skin. And then I'm so happy to see, like, you are like have taken the initiative to get yourself healthy so that we're around for our kids, right? Because we've got like, as old as my ass is, I got the nerves to have a 13-year-old, right? But I want to be around, right? I want to be around to watch my babies grow up. And I think it's beautiful that during this pandemic, that you guys have taken the initiative to want to live, to see your babies and walk your babies down the aisle and watch them get married and get to see your grandbabies, right? I'm gonna cry, guys.
And
because so many people have passed, right? And not taking care of your health. And, I think our generation has made a conscious decision on getting healthy so that we can be here. We have siblings that aren't here to watch their kids and their grandbabies. And so
Yeah.
it's forcing us, right? It's forcing us to, I got to be here. I got to be here. So
It's
I
funny.
love that that's the thing that's come out of the pandemic of me watching you guys and your health journey. So
It's funny. I was on this call and we are talking about how there are certain things Devin and I were doing, and we didn't know we were unconsciously doing it.
Mhm.
Basically, we were living life and planning for me to die young, because that's all we know.
Yeah,
My dad died when I was 10. Her dad died when she was 15. So just every move we were making, like, is crazy. Like, we have our burial plots paid off. We,
yeah,
we have our headstone in storage. We've
yeah.
seen the financial burden it takes on a family and the toll.
Right,
So we were making all these moves, like, pretty much for Devin to be a widow when she was young, because that's all we knew.
yeah,
Um, but after getting on our health journey and dropping the weight and seeing that it's possible, and think it just shifted our mindset, and like,
right,
now I can actually see being around to retire with Dev, and again, I can walk out the door and get hit by a car,
right,
but at least I know it's not going to be my health. you
yeah,
know
because
um,
that was always our concern,
yeah.
right,
when it was pretty sad, because it was almost getting to the point where it was like, are we in countdown? Because in the early 50s, that's what
right.
the number was. And so, we turned 40 and it's like, yay, we're 40. Okay, are we in countdown?
No,
What are we doing? Then we have to start worrying about, then I would, okay, well, we had another baby. What's the life insurance? What's what's everything? Get everything together. And after, like, a couple months ago, it was like, hey, what's our retirement portfolio looking like?
Right.
Because
What's our
if this
we
is
won't be here.
yeah, if this is where
Yeah.
we're at, we're going to have to figure this out to be able to afford living in the Bay Area for the rest of our life.
Yeah. So again, the health journey just helped us shift our mindset, because now, instead of focusing on life insurance, making sure I got all the mortgages and expenses paid off when I'm done, now it's shifting to, like, hey man, we need to build our nest egg. How's our stock
Yes,
portfolio look like?
Yep.
How's our assets look like? Because
right.
because now I can see myself here with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
guess it's all tied to COVID.
Right, right.
It's such a different way to live.
Yes.
And that's where, with having a journey with cancer has been, I'm living or I'm dying, right? And if I'm counting down days, then, in the end, you know, it's coming for all of us, right? We're all going to pass at some point. We
Right.
know that. But to live with, kind of like you're saying with that countdown thing, that's what the eye opener was, and I think it's the same with you with your health journey. Is like that day is going to come, but between now and then, I'm going to live full, powerful days. I'm going to have as many days as I can, and I use the same exact terminology that you used. You know, I've got cancer, but I could get hit by a car, like, you know, today or tonight or something. Like, it doesn't, it may not be what we think it's going to be, but our responsibility is just, live the days we got, and it's inspiring to see what you two are doing. And I may never spend another time with you in a buffet. Um,
We'll go. And I'll limit you to one plate. That's all
Yeah.
you need.
I'm in. I love buffet. I'm getting my money's worth.
Yeah, but that's really like how you're talking is really a great way to look at life. Is not a countdown, because in the end we're all going on to the next. We're all going on to be with all of our loved ones after this life. So best to make the best out of this life and set some good examples. So thank you both.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I love, is watching this during this pandemic, that you two have chose your health and your family over everything. I'm kind of proud to watch. some bratty kid grow up and he'll be here in a while.
Don't call my wife a brat.
Hey, I'm talking to you, and she knows it too. She knows it too. But yeah, I thank you guys for spending this hour with us and sharing your story and sharing your journey with everyone. And I know that if anyone had any questions about your journey, they can reach out to you and find you on social media. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for spending the day with us. I just wanted to pay our bill and tell everyone that this show was sponsored and is in partnership with We Can Do This, a campaign run by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. For more information, please go to www.vaccine.gov. Look at me, paying bills. There you go. But it's
Oprah.
okay. Oprah don't curse. Oprah, no. But again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Devon and Tino, Elisara, we're here every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. This month, we are focusing on parents and the pandemic and vaccination, whether you agree or don't agree. Come talk to us. Thank you again for joining us. We need to ask you to hold on for a second. But thank you, everyone. We'll catch you next week.